Bingwa Night converging health-conscious actors and influencers to advocate for increased vaccination against COVID-19 to a fun-filled three-day packed information event. The 2022 Africa Youth Month was indeed an exciting time. Welcome to the African Union Youth Ghana News in Brief, where we give you a recap of what transpired at the Pan-African Youth Forum from the 1st to the 3rd of November 2022. Here's what to expect in the upcoming bulletin. His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat launched the 1 Million Next Level initiative. Her Excellency
Dr. Monique Instanza Baganoa,
the Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, lit the proverbial torch for the African Union Bingwa initiative in Ethiopia. The African Union Commission hosted the first ever digital Bingwa night. 5 workshops were held over 2 days to consult young people on solutions on the 4 E's and H. And lastly, an aerobaton to vavavoom the young people for action. Once again, welcome to the African Union Youth Ghana News in Brief. My name is Presla Mawina Echedu. The news in details. The African Union Commission's Women, Gender and Youth Directorate, through the division in charge of youth development and engagement, convened the 3rd Pan-African Youth Forum at the AUC headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, from the 1st to the 3rd of November 2022. The Pan-African Youth Forum was held under the theme Breaking the Barriers to a Meaningful Youth Participation and Inclusion. During the Pan-African Youth Forum, the chairperson of the African Union, His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat, launched the 1 Million Next Level initiative, where he encouraged all stakeholders, including government, civil society, young people, private and public sector, to support the implementation of the initiative, which seeks to encourage and provide opportunities for 300 million young people in Africa around the areas of education, entrepreneurship, engagement, employment, and health and well-being.
Notre ambition ici est de favoriser les investissements en faveur de la jeunesse, dans l'heureuse perspective de réaliser l'Afrique que nous voulons. À ce titre, la Commission envisage de porter plus haut son objectif initial, en offrant des opportunités à 300 millions de jeunes africaines et africains d'ici 2030 dans les 4 E, auxquels vont s'ajouter naturellement les domaines de la santé et du bien-être.
Moving on to our next story, Her Excellency
Dr. Monique Instanza Baganoa,
Deputy Chairperson of the African Union, lit the proverbial AU Bingwa torch. The torch represents the number of countries and communities that would be activated across the African continent to ensure young people are mobilizers of the Bingwa initiative, and that means they are mobilizers to get their communities vaccinated against COVID-19. She said, consolidation of efforts to advance the critical focus area is important, and in order for the work to succeed, there is a requirement for all stakeholders to play their part. Here is her story.
Assist in organizing COVID-19 vaccination sessions and also be willing to join the continental network and share best practices. The work we do is spurred by our partners, and I would like to thank GIZ, Tracy Africa, the UNICEF, the Generation and Unity, AMREF, and One Campaign, among many others.
In the area of partnership, we had some partners who pledged their support to the AU COVID-19 Bingwa vaccination program, as well as the 1 million next level. We move across to UNICEF, and we have Dr. Edward Adai, the UNICEF representative to the AU and the United Nations Economic Commission of Africa, encouraging young people to go above and beyond the call of duty in order to make their mark in this initiative, which requires the continent to reach 70% vaccination against COVID-19. We move ahead to Uganda, and we have Honorable Daniel Obao, the Presidential Advisor on Youth Affairs to the President of Uganda, where he shared his thoughts with participants. He mentioned that the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, was the first African head of state to be a Bingwa, where he pledged his support to this initiative. Excitingly, we have the entertainment industry also pledging their support. We run quickly to the Trace Africa, and where we had Anthony Opara, where the head of campaigns and events reiterated the support on the Bingwa initiative, as well as emphasized how important it is to communicate creatively to the African audiences in order to increase the number of COVID-19 vaccinations in Africa. To some exciting news, the first ever live digital AU Bingwa Night was hosted during the 3rd Pan-African Youth Forum. The AU Bingwa Night is a creative partnership between the AUC, GIZ, and Trace Africa to use art to reach young people and diverse African audience to spread the importance of getting vaccinated against COVID-19. The concert was emceed by Anelatea and headlined by the Kenyan Grammy Awards winning artist Benso. Among the songs he performed was his fan-loved favorite song.
Now, we are talking about the importance of inspiring Africa's youth health champions through creative mediums. I want to introduce you all to a phenomenal creative from Kenya who eats, breathes, and lives music. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who needs no introduction, the one and only Benso!
This song says, pray for me and I pray for you. Alright. No, 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 yeah. Mama, sure. Yeah, yeah, ajuae. Yeah, yeah, apangae. Popote.
Of course, we cannot gather young people without talking about their issues. We had a Youth Co-Create Manifesto, which focused on the priorities of young people. The forum allowed youth to identify barriers to meaningful youth engagement and inclusion, and subsequently co-create solutions to address these barriers as a way to enhance the implementation of the 1 million next level initiative. The participants went through thematic breakout rooms titled The Youth Consultation on Engaging Positive Masculinity to Eliminate Violence Against Women and Girls by the Women and Gender Directorate. The role and contribution of young women in peace processes in Africa, hosted by the UN Women Liaison Office to AU and UNECA. We also had the Youth Engagement and Advocacy Creation Station, hosted by WGYD, GIZ, IYF, and SEHOT. We also had the Youth Entrepreneurship Masterclass, hosted by WGYD and UNDP. The role of youth in transforming education in Africa was also hosted by the WGYD team and UNICEF office to the AU and ECA. Finally, we hosted the Youth Career Fair, which was organized by WGYD and AUC Human Resource Management Department. The outcome of the discussion was compiled into a youth manifesto, which outlines thematic recommendations on how to break barriers of access in the development space. And on to some entertainment news. As you know, a healthy body gives a sound mind. Young people engaged in a fun-filled aerobathon during the 3rd Pan-African Youth Forum. It ended on a high note with an energizing 1-hour Zumba aerobathon physical activity to encourage young people to focus on moving their bodies as part of their overall well-being. And as we gear up towards next year for the 4th Pan-African Youth Forum, do follow us on all our social media platforms for more exciting and interesting updates. We are at AU Youth Division on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You can also follow the directorate on AU_WGYD on Twitter. Until we meet next time, it is au revoir.